Why is the market down? Well, we get to blame Jerome Powell, and I've got the deets for you because we might be leaving the friend zone and going into the buy zone. Coinbase is delisting a few big ones. You need to hear about it. BlackRock is getting into the Circle IPO. Are you getting into it? I signed up. We're going to talk XRP price along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
That's right, we got some deep red up on the screen, and we get to blame Jerome Powell. And I know a bunch of you out there going, but bro, Jerome Powell didn't even talk today. No, but the minutes were released. Yes, that's right, the minutes, and we're going to go into depth and talk about them. But before we get into that, your comments. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Ply99, channel member, thank you for the support, says, so how exactly did Bitcoin get a free pass to do whatever it wants, but the rest of crypto waits on regs? Sounds like a setup. Well, think about this. Who owns BTC? Like, where does it come from? It's like gold, right? The miners mine it. So it's like there's not really an organization that you can go after. BTC is a commodity, just like gold, just like oil, just like silver. You see what I'm saying? There's no one behind it. You want to go after XRP, it's easy. You go after Brad. You want to go after XLM, it's easy. You go after Danelle and the Stellar Development Foundation. But with Bitcoin, with gold, with oil, who do you go after? You can't go after Mother Earth, can you? Well, I mean, I guess the Greenpeace people can. Martin Tibereau dropping support on the channel. Canadian support. Thank you, friend of the North. Says, Klaus, can you tell me your opinion on Tron TRX? 21% up in the 90 days. Thanks for juicy news, by the way. Justin Sun is a slippery character, wanted by several nations out there. He's moved money back and forth, and I think it was True USD, TUSD, that he said was completely insolvent, and that ended up being a lie. And there were rumors that the reason he did that was so he could get in, buy it on the cheap, and dude's a slithering snake, man. He moves money back and forth to cover his things. I personally don't trust him. He's a slippery one out there, but thank you for the question. Work-related documents says getting closer to that pizza. I'm your new subscriber. Keep up the good work. That's right, we're only 300 subs away from beating Papa John's, and when we do, we're going to celebrate by having a Papa John's pizza on the video. Bitcoin stayed at 107,412, ETH is 2633, XP at 224. We're leaving the friend zone and going to get into the buy zone, but how low will we go? Because I'm thinking $2 is the new 50 cents for XRP. So what happened? FOMC minutes were released. Yes, the May minutes were released and the markets reacted to it. Powell laid out his post-meeting press conference minutes and what already has been echoed in recent speeches by other Fed officials. That's right. They're worried about trade creating higher inflation over the next several months. Essentially, what Jerome Powell and the Fed said is, look, we're going to keep rates higher for longer because until we get trade deals figured out, inflation could tick up. And if inflation ticks up, we can't drop rates down. Those hoping for more concrete guidance will find little in these minutes. The committee reiterated that future decisions would be guided by a broad set of data, the economic outlook, and the balance of risks. New York Fed President John Williams recently stated that the clarity on the impact of tariffs won't emerge until the June or July meetings. So if you're watching channels out there, or if you're on crypto Twitter, which is absolutely filled with degens and scammers, and they're talking about rate cuts in the June or July meeting, block them. Because they're full of shit. You ain't getting it right now. Cleveland Fed's Hammock and Atlanta's Bostic suggested it could take until late summer or even 3 to 6 months later to get enough information to see if we're going to cut rates. We might only get one rate cut this year. For now, the Fed is keeping its options open. It's expected that we get a 25 basis rate cut in September as the labor market softness is expected to outweigh residual inflation concerns by then. While uncertainty around policy shifts clouds the forecast, we believe the current market pricing, reflecting only a 45% of a cut in September, is underestimating the likelihood of easing, and that's what you're seeing right now. The market is pricing in the fact that we're not going to get rate cuts until probably the fourth quarter this year, or really, really late into the third quarter of this year. So we're like, oh, Jerome Powell just peed in our Cheerios yet again. Yes, he did. That's why you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out, so you learn why the market does what it does. Buying opportunity? I don't know. I mean, I still think a lot of these prices are friend zone, but a lot of people like to buy on those red days. Speaking of red days, Coinbase delist 4 major tokens impacting millions by June 26. What are the 4 that they're getting rid of? Render, Ribbon Finance, Helium Mobile, and Synapse. Updated versions of relevant tokens are the main cause of the delisting. Projects regularly migrate networks or introduce improved currencies as blockchain tech develops. For instance, Render switched from Ethereum-based Render to Solana-based Render back in November. A lot of exchanges offer it, but Coinbase is obviously slow. So now you know. Why? Well, because this and all the articles you see in this video are linked in the description below. By the way, I just got up from a 2-hour nap. I was listening to a little bit of Joe Rogan podcast. You know who he had on there? AJ from the Y-Files. Check it out. It was really good. That's right. Lizard people. Hecklefish. Check it out. It was fun. Fell asleep during it, so I'm going to have to rewind a little bit and see where I nodded off. BlackRock eyes a 10% stake in Circle IPO. I put my name on the list down. I did, but you know what the problem is? It's oversubscribed. That's right. So that $24, $26 price range target, I got a feeling it's going to be a bit higher than that. BlackRock is planning to acquire roughly 10% of the shares in Circle Internet, their upcoming initial IPO, according to Bloomberg's report. So again, for those channels out there that said, yo, Ripple is going to be buying it up and they're going to go for a hostile takeover. Nope, not going to happen. Why? Because it's not only BlackRock that's getting into it. Cathie Wood also said she's going to buy 150 million in shares. So now there's a hell of a lot more competition than just Coinbase. You're going to have a whole bunch of players out there buying shares, and you're going to have a whole bunch more money now buying segments of Circle. Ooh, listen to this. You've got now Circle's co-founder Jeremy Lair is among the selling shareholders with the offering scheduled to price on June 4th. This might be one of the hottest IPOs this year. And yes, I have my name in. If you don't have a broker that has it, well, then I'm sorry to say you might want to get a new platform. Because I got the email right away on it, and I put my name down. We'll see what happens. ARK Investment, led by Cathie Wood, has also signaled interest in purchasing up to 150 million in shares. Holy shit. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. But remember, Circle's IPO is oversubscribed with orders exceeding shares available. So just because you put your name down for it doesn't mean you're going to get it. So no, Brad's not going to be able to get this on the cheap because there's going to be a heck of a lot of competition driving up the price of Circle. This is going to be one we're going to follow, and I'm going to be right there to share it with you. Now, BTC has bounced up from its lows, but you got the rest of the market like Solana and XRP that keep pushing it down. Altcoin season starting to get even lower, which means what? BTC is holding its price better than the rest of the market. Volume is 118 billion in the last 24 hours. So who's making the money? The exchanges. That's right. Let's swing it on over to XRP, where volume is 2.34 billion. And like I said, we have now been moving down, down, down. I wouldn't say 224 is the buy zone, because if we zoom out even to the 1 month chart, you can see that we've been around that $2.10 mark. So you can definitely snipe a bit lower than what you've seen. And I know a lot of you prefer buying XRP right at that $2 zone. But let's do this. Let's go to those candlesticks and see if anything pops out to us. And you can see that we have broken through any support that we have seen here for any near-term movement. In fact, we have gone all the way back to May 8th pricing levels. So we have completely wiped out any gains over the last 3 weeks with XRP. So who's making the money? It's the exchanges. They make the money when you buy. They make the money when you sell. And you know what, everyone? That's the name of the game. So how low will we go here? I don't know. I mean, the minutes from the Fed suggest what? Something we already know. That a lot of Fed players out there are thinking that tariffs are going to be the big key to us going forward. But it also means that once we get the tariff things figured out between the EU and we get them figured out between China, that we could rally super strong as well. Because remember, when we got the deal between the United States and the UK, the market rallied. When we got the temporary reprieve between China and we got the temporary reprieve between the EU, the markets rallied on that. So yes, we are getting some redness based on the minutes. But at the same time, what else are we able to get? We're able to get a rally if we get an agreement. Remember, the temporary EU agreement goes all the way through July, and then the one with China goes until early August. So we've got some catalysts here that could propel us back into the green. But right now, the market is deep, deep, deep in the red across the board. Will we go even lower? I don't think we're going to go that much lower because, to be honest with you, I think a lot of players that have been watching this, you included, know that the Fed has been fairly hawkish and we've been watching the rates. In fact, when we go to the CME group and we look at the rates right here, because we've been following it, we know that there's, 97% chance that they're going to pause this meeting coming up here in 20 days. So look, if you've been following the news, you've been following Crypto with Klaus, you don't have the expectations. You go to the July meeting and you're like, all right, 77% chance that they're going to pause. You go to the September meeting and you're like, oh, only a 41% chance pause. So people following the trends are in the know. Right now, we're just letting the rest of the people in the market know, hey, no rate cuts, most likely until September. That's why you see red on the screen and red on my background. So even when Jerome doesn't talk, he's got this much power and control over the market. And that's really not fair because crypto is traded globally and we see the effects that one man, one group has over the entire market. Now, I know. Some of you out there are like, but bro, I love buying on red days, but was this red enough for you to buy? I mean, let me know down below. I get it. We went from like 233 on XRP down to 224. I mean, I get it, a 9-cent discount, but we've seen you've been able to snipe for cheaper. But now some of the other cryptos out there have gone down even lower than that, giving you maybe those entries that you'd like to get. Because I know some of your bags are packed with XRP, some of your bags are packed with XLM, so now you're looking for your tertiary and your quaternary holdings out there. But the thing is this, if we're not going to get rate cuts till September, that's actually not such a bad thing. Because think, if we get an agreement with the EU sometime in July, and then we get a little boost from that, and then we get a little bit of a China thing happening in August, and we get a boost from that, and then we get the rate cut in September, you're talking about a boost in July, which is big for macros, a boost in August, and then a boost in September. That could be a pretty good 3-month-in-a-row pumperoni. We just got to navigate those waters. So maybe the summer is a little icky, a little gross. Maybe we're in the friend zone all summer long, or maybe we're in the buying and stacking zone. So you just got to be ready with the dry powder, and you got to be ready with the news, the real news. So again, if players are out there saying, oh, emergency Fed meeting, oh no, they're going to be cutting rates. No, they're not cutting rates. They ain't cutting rates until we figure out what's going to happen with tariff. Drink. So that's the news. That's the reason why we're red. Hit that subscribe button so we can beat Papa John's, and I'll catch you cool cats later. Why? Because choo-choo, bitches.